Hi everybody, welcome back to the channel and welcome to looking after your Ultra 2024. This is going to be a strip down and reassemble and clean up, so it just keeps you tipped up on your cleaning. Now the tools you're going to need, I pulled a few out. You could use other ones if you've got them to hand. Now I've got a pair of mole grips that are adjustable on the front, so you can use them, so you can adjust them right in. You can get away with using them ones, or if you've got a pair of the point nose ones like that, you can get away with using them. 3 spanners. We're going to need a 10mm, a 13 and a 15mm. Round head and open face if you've got it. They both come in handy on this strip down. And then to sort of like nip things up at the end, impact driver is absolutely fine to use, not a problem at all. So I'll move the camera in closer and we'll strip the Ultra. Right guys, we're ready to strip the Ultra. So you should have your tools to hand. You've got the 13, the 14 and the 15mm spanner with the open end and close end, your 2 mole grips, and you've got your impact driver for later. We can use that one later on. Now the first thing we need to do is get rid of all that, because you don't need it. You just need a pair of these. That's all you need to strip this brush down. This is why I recommend this brush for beginners, because it's just nice and easy to get on with. Now cleaning products, simple again. We're using a bit of kitchen towel, a dental stick that's got a little brush on the end, and I'm using 2K thinners. Now you can use solvent cleaners like this. This is an aggressive cleaner. It's what you'd use in your paints for thinning your paints down. I'll show you where you can use it and where to keep it away from on this brush if you're using strong solvent. But your mild airbrush cleaners with this will be absolutely fine. So stripping the Ultra, nice and easy. Got your brush, you've got your sleeve set in here. First thing you can take off is your cup and they just pull away. That's the beauty of these brushes, they're simple. You can just push the cup in like that. So take your cup, put that to one side, and you're left with this. Like that. Back of the body, just undo, that unscrews. So unscrew the back of the body, like that. Move that to one side, you can clean that in a minute. Then you've left with the back of your needle, you've got your chuck. This is the piece that when you tighten up, that locks the needle in place, keeps it in place. Moving further down, you've got your sleeve set in here. That piece can just slide away. Now you'll know when you've got this, when you assemble it, if you've got it the right way round. If you put it this way round and put it on, it won't go on. You'll have trouble then getting your body in the back. It'll be the wrong way. But when you put it this way round, so you've got that little scallop there, goes towards and marries up with the sort of scallop that's in there for the trigger to go back, all the way back. That's the way it goes on. And then you click it round like that. So pull that away. Put that to one side. So you've now got your needle exposure at the back. You can see all the chalk. Undo this piece here and slide your needle out from the back. Now this needle is dirty. So that's your needle out. If you wanted to take your trigger out, pinch this bit here, pull back like that, and the trigger will lift out like that. That's your trigger out. Go to the front of the brush. If you want to take the front of the brush off, just pinch and unscrew like that, and then your nozzle slides out like that, and that's your Ultra stripped down enough to give it a deep clean. You don't need to do this sort of strip down every time you use the brush. You can give it a simple clean. What I'll show you at the end, I'll just do a simple clean and show you how to keep simple cleaning it. But if you are getting a lot of caked up paint over it and you've not cleaned it for a while, strip it down to this sort of bare bones and then we'll clean it from here onwards. So needle first, bit of kitchen towel, drop a bit of your cleaner on, 2K or whatever you've got, get your needle, pinch and pull through, and just keep doing that a few times like that. Just pinch and pull it through, because you will get a build up of paint on it, and you can see that there, that's the paint that's come off that. So that's your needle nice and clean. You've got your markings on the back So this is 045, so you'll have your 4 dashes on the back to notify us that it's the 045 needle in it. So that's clean, job done. You can use the same piece of kitchen towel you've used for that, clean your cup. So just push your finger in it and just spin round that part of the inside. And then give this piece here a clean as well, round here. Because you've got to remember that bit is sliding into the body of the brush. So if that's full of paint, it's going to be awkward trying to get it back into the brush. That's your cup done. You can go to the back of the body. Solvents on these, not a problem on the chrome. So you can wipe that down with the solvent. If you've got any on your sleeve setting, you can just give that a wipe down. Clean that up. Make sure it's got no paint in here. If you spilt paint and it's gone over it, just give that a good clean. Trigger, again, on the trigger, this little bar moves up and down on here. So if you want to clean that up, just give that a wipe over. You can use solvent on this, not a problem. Clean all round in there, like that. That's your trigger. You probably might have some on the top as well, where you've been mixing paint, got some on your fingers and you've got some on there. Solvent, again, not a problem on that piece. When it comes to the nozzle, the little brass nozzle that sits in the front of the air cap, when it comes to that, I would usually just drop of thinners into the top of it like that. Get my dentist brush and just drop that inside and just give that a little clean round in there with the brush. These fit in there perfect, these little brushes. And just agitate. If there's any paint in there, you'll get it out this way. And just keep going back to your piece of towel like that. You can add more cleaner, just give it a little blast through like that. A few times. And that's your nozzle, nice and clean. Put that to one side. Now when it comes to your air cap, this piece, you've got a black rubber at the back of this. Now if you're using strong solvents, do not put any real strong 2K solvents or cellulose paint solvents on this bit, because that rubber will expand and contract, and it does that all the time when you're using solvents, and eventually they just split. You can buy the replacement little washers here that sit, but if you just keep your strong solvents away from it, you'll be okay. Mild airbrush cleaners are all right. So to clean the front piece, I'd get a cotton bud with cleaner on and just put that inside. You can see the paint coming off that. Just give that a little whiz round in there, spin it round a couple of times and just give it a little wipe over with your cleaner like that, just to make sure that's all nice and clean. And that just cleans where the air and the paint come out at the front of your airbrush. You can get a build up down there, so then you'll probably be getting spitting. It'll be spraying from it, or the spray pattern could be slightly off. It's where you've got a build-up of paint in here. And that's caused by spraying thicker bodied paints, not running the right air pressures. You can just get a build-up as you're a beginner and just working with it. So always check this when you're painting. But I'll show you some more cleaning tips with this in a minute. So that's the front part done. When it comes to the actual body, you've got to think where your paint's going. It's going down here in the cup and out the front. So if you get a cotton bud, drop a little bit of cleaner on it, like that. You can go down this way here and just clean in here, like that. And just spin that round in that little opening on the front of the brush, like that. You can go this way as well and just clean that way, like that. Just give that a little wipe around the front. Like that. Now you can, if you've got loads of paint welded in here where you've left it, you've got to get that hole there through here. You've got to get all the paint out of this bit here. So you can use the pipe cleaners and go into the brush there, and you can get into the body. So you would clean that way if you had any stubborn paint down in the bottom and just clean through down that way like that. And just keep cleaning through and flushing through if you've got any built up paint. Use the cotton buds, keep using cotton buds. If you've got a real caked up brush, just keep flushing through that way and you'll clean it through. If you've been holding your brush in your holder and it's tilting sort of like, if it's in the holder like that and it's tilting backwards and you've left paint in it and you find your trigger is sticking when you press down, that's a build-up of paint down here. Now, mild airbrush cleaner, not your strong solvents. Just do your mild ones. You can put some cleaner on, go in here, and when you look down inside here, you can see the little air valve pin at the bottom. Just give that body in there a wipe and a scrub. Down in there like that and get any paint that's down there out. Give your body of the brush a wipe down. You can use solvent on the outer, a little bit on a rag and just wipe down the body like that. And that's your brush stripped down and cleaned if you had paint left in it. So you just flush through the front, keep flushing through there. If you've had your airbrush in the hanger and it's tilting back with thin paint in and you get paint around this piece, mild airbrush cleaner here, clean round in there. Strong solvents from the front this way, tilting the brush, not a problem. Keep flushing it through. When it comes to your air cap, you can do a bit of strong solvent on the end of a cotton bud in here, spin round and clean, but just keep your strong solvents away from the rubber seal here because it will perish them if you keep using it. So they're just the sort of places you've got to keep an eye on. If you're unsure of like your cleaners, just stick to them ways. You'll be absolutely fine. So drop your nozzle back in here, the air cap, that just slides in like that, and then you can screw that to the front like that. Screw that up. You've not got to clamp that or tighten it, you just do hand tighten, nip it up. You can now drop your trigger in. Now on your trigger, you've got your little flat piece to the front here, that faces the front of the brush. So that faces forwards. Pull your little lever down, pinch the back of the brush, pull back, drop the trigger in, and you'll feel it drop down. And that's the trigger in. You pull that bar back, just do that again, pull that back, pinch and pull this part back, drop the trigger down, it'll just drop into place. Got to pull that bar down like that, drop into place. That's it, and it just drops into place. You probably do a few goes at it when you first start, but you'll get the gist of it. Once you've done it a few times, you want to take the trigger out. So that's the trigger in. Now you can drop your needle in, undo the chuck at the back, and on the back here, you've got a bigger hole now on the new ones, and this is self-locating. So you can put your needle in at an angle like this. You see the bend on that needle as it's coming in at an angle? You can just push and it self-locates and slides down and into the brush. So you've not got to worry about dinking your needle. Slide that to the front until you feel it stop. Don't put loads of pressure, you're literally just resting your finger on the back to stop the needle, any movement in that needle. Put your finger on the back, bring your other finger up and your thumb, and then just nip that chuck up. You'll feel it tighten up, like that, and that is your needle in place. Get your sleeve set in, spin that round, drop that on like that, back of the body, tighten the back of the body up, like that, and then get your cup and just push your cup in place like that, and that's your brush back together, stripped down and cleaned. Now if you wanted to put a bit of lubrication on this to keep it running nice and easy, again, just take the back of the body off, sleeve setting off, undo the chuck at the back, slide the needle out, Now on this part of the body here, you can take this piece off here, take the chuck off, you can take the next one off next to it here. When you release this one, you'll feel your spring push back. That bar can slide out like that. Okay, you've got the spring on the back of it, and you've got that light sort of little twist on this one. Trigger can come back out, it's not a problem. Now, places to put lubrication, if you want to keep your Ultra in really nice condition, where you've got these little twists on this bar, you can get a little bit of lubrication and just drop a bit on there. Doesn't matter if it goes over onto the spring, it's not a problem. So you can put a bit of lubrication around that. So when that slides back in the brush, it's just nice and silky smooth, because that's the movement when you move back on your trigger. That bar is permanently doing that inside that body. So a little bit of lubrication on that works wonders, guys, on this. It really does. It makes it more smoother. You get your back piece that clamps this in place, put that back on and tighten that up. Put your chuck to the back like that. Just nip that up. And then on your trigger, where you see this bar that moves up and down, it's another point of contact. Very light contact on here, but if you want that to be smoother, drop a bit of lubrication on either side of that, in that little channel. Drop a bit there, so when this moves, when you're moving the trigger backwards and forwards, this is now lubricated up here. It's just going to help it. Drop your trigger back in, pull back, drop the trigger down. That's the trigger in place. So that's a smoother feel going backwards and forwards now, going down because your trigger's been lubricated either side on this piece, and then moving back, that bar's been lubricated inside. So now you can get your needle, put your needle back in, like that, nip that up, get your sleeve set in, slide that on, back of the body, slide that on, and that's your Ultra back together. Now if you wanted to clean this as you're painting, but you didn't want to be sort of stripping it down and worrying about tip drying the build up at the front, so if you've been spraying for a long time and you've got to build up a paint here and you're thinking, oh, I've got to strip it down, so you've got to take the back off, you've not got to do that. If you're painting and you get a build up here, get your artist brush, just dip that into some airbrush cleaner, and then on the front where you've got the holes here, them holes go all the way around the front of the air cap. You can get your airbrush cleaner and just push down into them holes like that, and that will clean, they direct the bristles down to the front and just into the needle and across, and it just cleans the front of the brush up. Quick way of doing it, you can do that. If you get a build up of stubborn paint and it's actually on the air cap right down where the needle is, literally just undo the back, undo the chuck, slide the needle back like that so the needle's cleared the front. Then you can get your cotton bud and done what we've done earlier, and just cleaner, cotton bud, spin round, give it a clean like that. Nice little clean up, just pushing the cotton bud down, cleaning it. Then slide your needle back forward, tighten the back up, and then put the body on the back, and you can do that way. So that's a quick way as well on this. Quick ways for cleaning paint through with this: you put it to full trigger setting and you'll notice the triggers go further back. They go right back on this. Pull it right back, artist brush, cleaner, quick clean round in the cup, blast through on open trigger, so you've got the whole movement. You don't want to be using the sleeve settings when you're cleaning. You want to go full trigger, so you've got full movement back to blast it through. Then get your kitchen towel, put your finger in, just wipe round like that, blast some more cleaner through till you blast it through clear, and job done. Your Ultra's sort of like cleaned as you're painting. That's the quickest way of doing it when you're painting. Open trigger, blast your paint through, cleaner, blast it through again till you blast through clear, and you're good to go. When it comes to the end of your airbrush sort of session, and you're thinking, oh, do I need to strip it down? You don't. If you keep your airbrush in the hanger, tilting forward like this, you can leave cleaner in it. You could leave cleaner in it overnight and just blast your paint through, drop some cleaner in, blast through a couple of times, just leave a little bit of cleaner in the airbrush hanger pointing down. So if you've got the H&S hanger like that, that's how you want your brush pointing. So it points downwards. You don't want the brush like this on a flat or tilting back with paint left in it, because that's when you're going to get problems when it goes down to your trigger. So that's where they're always designed to point forward. So I could literally leave that at the side, cleaner, and you can leave it like that overnight with that little bit of cleaner in. It's not a problem. Or water. So you could leave water in it just to keep it wet to the front of the brush. If you have left a little bit of paint in it, you can leave it like that. And then your next airbrush session, just blast that through. I'll tip that out. So you blast your cleaner through, and then just give it another little dry out and clean with a piece of paper towel. And that will be good enough. Once it's blasted out, it'll be good enough to drop on the shelf. So just keeping it clean like that and keeping the body all nice and clean all the time, your Ultra's going to last. You'll have no issues with it. Just doing them little maintenance bits there, a little bit of lubrication on the spring piece going through, and it just makes it really nice to work with. And just keep your front crown cap clean, because you can get a build up on these. Keep them clean, no aggressive solvents near that rubber washer, no aggressive solvents down in here, and you're good to go.